Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybedesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. Those are two sample cards because we are doing two with today's video. That is what we are making today. I changed the measurements on the shaker card, which you're seeing a close-up of right now, to make it more scale appropriate. And again, everything is always over on the blog at cindybedesigns.com with a direct link, a second card under this YouTube video description. So to get started, I've been using the Wheel of a Time Suite collection all this week. Like, this is my 6th-day posting on it. That is a 6x6 designer series paper that comes along with the entire suite. Fantastic colors in there, as you can tell. Lots of great patterns and scenes. Everything you want is in there. That is a well-done stamp set. It is clear. And then we have the seabed embossing folder, and we'll talk about that a little bit later with the punch there, the whale punch, and the sequins that come along in the suite. And I've gone through at least half those sequins because it normally comes like really packed full, along with that cool party 3/8 of an inch sheer ribbon. So to get started, those are the cards I showed this week, all on the blog, where you can see the embossing folder, how simple it is to make these cards. I have a shaker today to show you. There's another one for Tuesday for alcohol marker coloring and bringing in a coordinating stamp set. There was like my little seahorse card, simple punching card there with some vellum. That is a 4x4 card. And then we just have like some DSP strips on top of a large DSP panel. Yeah, skip intro. Everything has like a lot of great dimension to it. And there's like my little squid card there. So we're going to pick it up a little bit and keep going. So that is my sample shaker card, where I use a pretty peacock whale. And today we're going to be using the Blackberry Bliss. That was the other very, very simple card there in clips of coral, which I'm going to take to Granny Apple Green like I am here. So that is 3.5 across by 6. And I'm bringing in that embossing folder, and I'm taking a piece of the Granny Green Apple cardstock. And if I remember, that's 2.5 across by 5 inches down. And I'm embossing that with the seabed embossing folder. And that's what we look like. That right there on top is embossed. How I flipped it over, that is debossed, when it's decreased in, so to speak. So now I am bringing in a piece of Whisperite cardstock that measures an inch by probably like 4.5, 4.25. And I'm thinking, I'm looking, it's like, no, I want to put my banner in there first and punch it out. And then I'm going to lay down the sentiment on the Stamparatus, try to fix it, square it up, got to do it again. Getting that down there just the right way. And that is going to be inked up with Pacific Point. And again, I'm looking, what ink color do I use? And that's how I chose that. So I'm going to lay down the Pacific Point twice, because with the whale word, it wasn't as solid as I'd liked. So that's why I inked that up again. So this card is Granny Apple Green, 3.5 inches across by 6 down, which means that I cut it at 7 inches across by 6 down. So, divided by 2. Our embossing panel, I'm putting snail adhesive, not snail, it's now called Seal Plus, on the back. And as you see me lift the tape off there, remember that fast fuse, you have to like kind of sort of like yank it off a little bit to the right. So you're seeing how I'm laying down the DSP on top of the embossed, dry embossed cardstock there. Just going to try and cut down the sentiment strip. I had to flip it around so I could see it. And with that, I am going to put a couple dimensionals on, stamp dimensionals, white ones, on the back. Take a piece of that Pool Party sheer ribbon, loop it around the back on the sentiment like you see there. You know, kind of wing it, fold it a little bit, pull in some liquid adhesive, put that on both glue dots again, you know, because we want that staying down. And then tweezers, take it, adhere it down. We are done. And that's how simple that card really is. And kids are going to love that. So moving on, here is our shaker card. Same color I did before, but I did cut it down a lot more. My sample was like 4 by 5 1/4. This one is 3 3/4 by 5. So you're kind of seeing what I did there, how I'm thinking this out. The circle layering dies, I'm going to use the large die that you see there on the left. You want to cut that first, the large die, the larger one. Again, measurements, check the blog post, because you have to lay that down. So the next die that you cut from our image panel there, center it up more so towards the top, run it through, take the next smaller die by a good 1/4 inch, maybe even 3/8. You want to die cut the circle out first, and then take the seabed folder, run it through the big shot, and there you go again. And that's how that is all going to land, like I just showed you there. So I'm working it, fixing it, kind of looking at it, and I'm going to lay down the image panel on top of the card base. Some really quick pencil lines there, so I know exactly how to lay down that circle panel in the back that is going to cover our shaker card. So I'm getting that circle secured down there. I am going to lay down our window sheet there on the back, and that is 3 1/4 square. And I put tear and tape all the way around the very edges of that. And since my sample card was larger, it looks like that's kind of ouchy, but it does work and it fits. Everything works out perfectly. I burnished it down with a bone folder because that's going to hold my, the shaker guts in, what I call them, guts. So we have these adhesive foam strips, and I want them going all the way around the card. Should I put them that close to the edge? No, like what I'm laying down right there, that's what I really should have done. It doesn't make a difference one way or the other. To me, I just felt like that you could see through it a little bit, or just see foam from the side more. So I'm taking that all the way around, and I'm putting one more down there because I want it to lay evenly on top. So I'm going to grab another one of our adhesive foam strips, double-sided. If you pull, okay, we all know that the bottom of it that I'm putting down, that sticky part is already off of it. As you wrap it around like that, you want to pull the paper as you wrap it around because it makes the foam tape a lot more pliable, and that way you get everything down, you get a better seal, so to speak. So I'm just like looking at it, pressing everything down, making sure it's going to work. It does. And now I'm going to peel off everything there, the backs to the foam strips. And now I'm going to pull in that stamp apparatus, which you hear me talk about all the time, because I need my card base to stay straight, because how you put it together, it's not really rocket science. You just need your stuff straight. So I'm going to put down a couple, well, a lot of sequins actually, as many as I can. And I want to keep them in that circle there. because I'm going to take that, and I had to pull it closer to me because I was on my tippy toes, because I'm fun size, and lay that panel down, lay that shaker panel down. And as you can see, nothing comes out. So it's really that easy. Had to decide what color whale I wanted to put down, and that one is the Blackberry Bliss one. And for the water spouts, I'm using the back of just that same BSP that we used in our shaker card. And so I punched them out. I wasn't focusing, so I was looking at my card that I'm trying to do this voiceover with. So I'm pulling in our sentiment that is going to be stamped in, it looks like Pacific Point, it is. And I'm making sure everything's lined up the right way. And that's going to go down on Granny Apple Green cardstock. And I'm going to lay that down just a couple times, give it a nice press, and then eventually you'll have to see me bring in my paper trimmer to cut that down. And if I recall, that is 1.5 by an inch. Again, measurements, everything will be over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com. I have no idea what I'm doing here, besides I should have cut that out. Okay, so here we go. I was too busy looking at my card again rather than paying attention to what I'm trying to do the voiceover with. Looks like that was 1 3/4 by an inch. But again, everything will be over on the blog. A link is underneath this YouTube description. But don't forget, we are getting home stretch now. I'm just doing a lot of adhering. But don't forget to leave a comment, hit like and subscribe. And if you need anything, let me know. I'm just now putting down adhesive on the sentiment. And I'm going to tack that up underneath our whale there. And then I'm going to get our liquid adhesive, Tombow Mono, and just put a couple dots on the back of those little water spouts and adhere them to front of the card. And so we made 2 cards.